The New Yorker staff writer Susan Glasser had some statements that finally, I hope, other journalists listen to. I mean, first of all, she points out the reality that, Trump is always, Kamala Harris is always, or she implied, Kamala Harris is always being asked for specific, and the other side given the impression that Donald Trump somehow usually comes out and talk to the journalists and gives them what he plans to do, etc. Well, I want you to listen to this, and then I'll speak on it a bit after, because what she says was a subtle slam on not only Trump, but also journalism from the mainstream media. Check this out.
To the point about the interviews, and it's fascinating to see how effective Vance and Trump's campaign has been at getting across the idea, well, they don't answer tough questions. And this, Tom Emmer said it again, well, we should just talk about the issues. I'm really struck by that, because what is it that Donald Trump...
I did not bring up the pets, the naming pets.
But what is it
J.D. Vance brought it up, Donald Trump brought it up.
And what is it that they say when they, quote, talk about the issues? Like, Donald Trump's policy position is, I'm going to wave my magic wand and all the problems of the world are going to go away. The idea that there is a substantive, issues-based policy that is coming out of these interactions with, largely on Trump's case, the pro-Trump media and his rallies is just a fallacy. His policy in Ukraine is, I will wave my magic wand and in 24 hours, the war will be over. His policy on the economy is, I will impose massive tariffs on everything, and then just as if, some kind of amazing scenario has come to pass, the economy will be great. But countries' economies will fold.
Now, you heard what she said, and she's very accurate on that, right? Donald Trump comes out and he says, I am going to stop the war between Ukraine and Russia when I come in on the first day. But he doesn't really say what makes him believe that he could do that. If I was president, Israel would not have been in the war in Gaza or with Hezbollah. Really? What examples do you have to show that makes that true? Oh, I'm going to solve the economy and everything is going to be okay with tariffs. Really? So in effect, the mainstream media asks Kamala Harris to come out and give specifics of what do you plan to do, and she does. And then they said, we need more. We need more specifics. But you have Donald Trump pulling crap out of the air as far as what he's going to be able to do. Stop 2 wars, bring back an economy that he never really had, right? Again, the problem with the media is the following. The he said, she said mainstream media does not work anymore. But it's even worse than that, because the mainstream media, for the fear of not being called liberal or progressives, usually get their talking points from the right wing. So the right wing starts to say, Kamala is not doing interview and she's not speaking to the media, and she doesn't have policy specifics. And they take up that. And then instead of saying, okay, we've got these specifics from Kamala, what do you have to offer Donald Trump? Oh, they leave it there. Donald Trump will be Donald Trump. 2 different standards, right? But it's even worse. Donald Trump comes out and says, the economy was better under my administration, right? And the mainstream media repeats, Donald Trump says his economy was better under his administration. And after Donald Trump has told millions of people that, and because they have just gone through an inflation that was mostly caused by his mismanagement of COVID, which gave the plutocracy, the corporatocracy, the corporations an excuse for greedflation, meaning raise prices even as supply chains improved, even as many of the price increases had nothing to do with supply chain, just out of greed. But again, they made that message cauterize into people's mind. The mainstream media allowed it to happen, right? And so you go and you ask anybody, what is the most important thing for you? The economy. And, well, we want to go back to the days when the economy was doing better, when we didn't have inflation. And how do you want to do that? Well, maybe through Donald Trump, because under Donald Trump. But wait a minute. Donald Trump administration is the one that mismanaged COVID, that then caused a crash in employment, that then caused a crash in the economy, that then was the genesis of inflation. And that's what you want to go back to, somebody who doesn't have the ability, somebody who has constantly run their companies into bankruptcy, somebody who has the morals of, well, likely the worst person on the planet, someone who attacks women. That's who you would settle for, because you really buy into the fallacy that the mainstream media has not corrected effectively, that somehow it has been better under Trump. I mean, a few days ago, I pointed out that even Carter, the president that has had to deal with the oil embargo, the president that had to deal with stagflation, all induced again by bad policies previous, right? Even Carter's economy did better on the GDP level than Donald Trump. But yes, people would continue to say, well, maybe the economy was better because the short memory of what he represented, and of course, the inflation that the pain of inflation that they're feeling and looking for a solution. Well, one of the things that we talk about a lot is why critical thinking is so important. Because when you're not a critical thinker, you can listen to Donald Trump says, I'll end the war. And you say, I'm going to vote for him because he's going to end the war. I am going to fix the economic problem by adding a lot of tariffs for China to pay. Oh, I'm going to vote for Trump because he's going to make China pay those tariffs. Again, not realizing that everything that Donald Trump is talking about is going to cost you more. You're going to pay for it. And his friends, the billionaire class, will continue to get rewarded because that cut, that tariff is just there to collect money for them to cut taxes for those people on the top. We have to start critically thinking, folks. Glasser, thank you for at least giving us a small modicum of truth here.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.